Microsoft has made a significant move by cutting off the Israeli military's access to technology that facilitated extensive surveillance on Palestinians, particularly in Gaza and the West Bank. This development comes in light of revelations regarding how the Israeli military previously utilized Microsoft's Azure cloud services to amass an enormous amount of data from intercepted phone calls made by Palestinian civilians on a daily basis. According to sources, this decision was formally communicated to Israeli officials just last week. The move to restrict access was prompted by reports published in The Guardian, which showcased how Unit 8200, Israel's elite intelligence unit, was allegedly in breach of Microsoft's terms of service by improperly storing vast amounts of surveillance data within Azure's infrastructure. The backdrop of this investigation sheds light on the cooperation between Microsoft and Unit 8200, which had collaborative plans dating back to their initial meetings in 2021 between Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella and Yossi Serial, who was the unit's commander at that time. Following the publication of the concerning investigative report, Microsoft decided to engage an external party to critically assess its ongoing relationship with the Israeli military. The initial results of this inquiry led the company to terminate some of the unit's access to vital cloud storage and artificial intelligence services that had previously been in use. Drawing from Azure's substantial storage and computational capacities, Unit 8200 had developed an audacious system facilitating the indiscriminate collection, playback, and analysis of civilian phone conversations. Internal sources reported that this project aimed to collect as many as 1 million calls every hour. Furthermore, the vast data reservoir, which constituted nearly 8,000 terabytes, was maintained within a Microsoft data center located in the Netherlands. However, reports indicate that shortly after the Guardian's investigation went live, Unit 8200 quickly relocated some of this data outside of the Netherlands. It has come to light that the intelligence division is seeking to transfer this data to the Amazon Web Services cloud platform, although neither the Israel Defense Forces nor Amazon has provided commentary on these developments. Microsoft's abrupt decision to curtail access to essential technology comes amid growing pressure from both employees and investors. The scrutiny focuses on Microsoft's involvement with the Israeli military and the unintended consequences of its technological infrastructure in the ongoing conflict in Gaza, which has been characterized by extensive loss of life. A United Nations inquiry recently accused Israel of committing acts of genocide in Gaza, an assertion that Israel contests, but which is echoed by various experts in international law. The continued partnership has faced mounting backlash, exemplified by protests at Microsoft's U.S. headquarters and another facility in Europe, initiated by activist groups insisting on the cessation of Microsoft's military collaborations. On Thursday, Microsoft's vice chair and president, Brad Smith, informed employees about this decision through an internal email, expressing that the organization does not endorse technologies that facilitate mass surveillance of civilian populations. Smith emphasized that this policy has been staunchly enforced globally for over 2 decades. This action effectively concludes a 3-year timeline during which Unit 8200 exploited Microsoft's technology for surveillance operations. Although initially focused on monitoring communications in the West Bank, the system has been implicated in guiding military actions during operations in Gaza, where civilian casualties have surged. These revelations illuminate how major U.S. tech firms have inadvertently supported military actions resulting in significant humanitarian crises. As of now, health officials in Gaza report a staggering death toll of at least 60,000 since the onset of the Israeli military campaign in response to a Hamas-led attack earlier this month. However, many believe that the actual number could be much higher, with thousands potentially unaccounted for due to being trapped beneath debris or succumbing to shortages of food and medical resources. A senior Microsoft executive recently reiterated to Israeli officials that while their investigation remains underway, they have already identified substantiating evidence aligning with elements of The Guardian's reporting. The executive reiterated that facilitating the mass surveillance of civilians is not part of Microsoft's operational framework, and consequently, access to Unit 8200's surveillance initiatives will be curtailed, alongside a suspension of certain AI tools. This decision is unprecedented, being the first instance of a U.S. tech company withdrawing specific services from the Israeli military during its ongoing conflict with Gaza. Importantly, Microsoft's relationship with the IDF remains intact, as they continue to access other non-controversial services. Nonetheless, this raises critical questions within Israel regarding the implications of storing sensitive military data on third-party cloud platforms. In earlier investigative reporting by The Guardian, it was established that the Israeli military had significantly ramped up its use of Microsoft's Azure technology during recent military actions. Surprising revelations about Unit 8200's practices led Microsoft to conduct 2 reviews, initially finding no misconduct, only to reverse this stance following further scrutiny prompted by The Guardian alongside its partners. As these developments unfold, discussions may surface around technological ethics, military transparency, and the role of corporations in geopolitical conflicts, inviting both criticism and support from various stakeholders. So how do you feel about large tech companies like Microsoft navigating such complex ethical waters? Should they distance themselves completely from military applications, or is some collaboration necessary for national security? Join the conversation in the comments below.